you can make VR experiences to just kind of like have people see different point of views in the world. So I had this really amazing experience. Like I was like blessed to have this experience when I growing up to like go to an Amish farm every summer. So like I always kind of understood like country life as well as living in the city. But like a lot of people haven't really like you don't really understand like you know the craziness of like the country until you're building hay and stuff like that. So you like stuff like that you will like most people will never be able to experience, and that's really unfortunate. But you can build stuff like that in VR, and like the sense of urgency and presence in VR would actually allow people to kind of like create new memories to make it feel like they were there. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question about sort of okay, cool. We've got sort of the lay of the land. Now, if I want to get in and start messing around, do you have any like tried and true tutorial recommendations, or do you recommend sort of going to the Unity document and just sort of working through that, or what was your own sort of onboarding process?
Yeah, so excellent question. I would say go to like a YouTube tutorial to start, and like Brackeys is one of the best ones. Like back when I like didn't even know programming, I was like doing Unity tutorials on Brackeys, and that's like a YouTube channel where this guy's just like this big Unity fan, and he just like builds simple stuff. Like it's like, you know, you start small that way, you build up little building blocks, make sure like the first project you're gonna work on is super small. Like don't like, what was it, the first game that like I made for like the Global Game Jam was like a 2-minute experience where you're just kind of like mashing buttons, and that is an example of the scope you want for like your first project. Make it small, make it something that you're interested in, but also just make sure that like you understand like that if something takes like about 5 minutes, if it's a 5-minute experience, it's probably gonna take a couple months to make. So like every time you estimate like how long something's gonna take, like even with like, let's say you go on like a bunch of tutorials and you're like, all right, I'm ready for this. Like I think this is gonna take me 2 months. It's gonna take you 6.
Okay.
So like scope your project down to a very small, concise being of what you want it to be, and just kind of like work from there. Yeah. So
it's Brackeys. How do I spell that?
Actually, like, I am like, yo, you do not want me to spell stuff. Like, I failed every spelling bee. I've been.
Well, I don't know if like. So I'm interested in sort of narrative development. I think that's the easiest transition into game development for me as a writer.
Yeah.
And I'm always sort of going back and forth, like, do I even need this sort of technical expertise, or is that something that would be useful for me to even know how to do this if I'm not thinking of myself as like being on the back end developer?
So, thanks for coming. I appreciate it. So there's like for VR, there's a lot of experiences, and like the experiences in VR are actually usually sometimes not really interactive, or like they're just small little hints of interactivity. So you technically can like tell a story with just like static objects and stuff like that, and like maybe that's actually a really great way to start in order, instead of like making like a full-fledged game, in order to allow yourself to kind of like get in at an easy like kind of like entry level, but also just make something that you want to make. So like it you know, like your game doesn't need to be like amazingly complex or anything like that. It just needs to tell a really good story, you know? And VR's the way to do that. Oh, this is Brackets. Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I guess we are switching.
Yeah, I think they're gonna kick us out soon. So thank you all for coming. I hope this was fun for you all. Like this is really fun to like explain this to you all. So thanks. Appreciate it.